Welcome to another Today's Fun project here. We've got an '06 Jeep Wrangler. This isn't the same one I just repaired the air conditioning system on that was freezing up. The lines were freezing. This is another one here. You may have seen this in some of my other videos. We've replaced rear differential gears in there. We've done some evap work to it. We've done major exhaust work to it. All kinds of stuff. It just really likes me a lot and likes to come back and visit me. Makes me feel so special, you know, warm and fuzzy inside. So anyhow, now it's back. Check engine lights on. My buddy owns this vehicle since new. He tells me on his little scan tool he's got a P1603. So 1603 is related to the TCM, the transmission control module. So we're going to need to check that out on this '06, and I believe the '05 TJs. The TCM is located directly with the PCM, so that's on the driver or passenger side firewall. So if you see 4 connectors, one of those out of the 4 will be for the TCM. So we're going to have to look into that. We'll hook our scan tool up there and see what other codes we get, if any. The symptoms are he gets in the vehicle, he goes to drive it, and it's a hard shift, I guess, to get out of first into second. I believe is what he's been telling me. The issue is now by disconnecting the battery, he's been able to reset the TCM and the thing runs fine. It transmission shifts smooth, everything's good, and then boom, just out of the blue, one day the check engine light will pop back up, resets it, same thing. It's just, you know, over and over, and I know he's had the problem for quite a while. So we'll go, you know, through the system. I'll show you what's what. And hopefully we can figure this out without any big time major scan tools. I don't know how deep we'll get into it, but at least you have an idea of what the symptom is and what the issue may be possibly. So I've got the scan tools hooked up. Ignition is on. That's where our buddy the check engine light hides, right down there. So he's lit up. Over here on the scan tool, we've got the P1604 and a P1603. So, and then we also have a pending P0700. So the 700 is the transmission control system. So basically, the PCM saying turn on the check engine light. There's a problem with this, with these other codes here. So anyway, that's what we've got. That's definitely TCM related. Alright, so I looked up the pinout here, and this is, they call it module 1, so I assume this is there's the 4 connectors, the one to the left, and it says black 38 way. So here's the pin layout. You got 1 all the way down to 38, so it's going across this way. And what we'll do is we'll check for power. Let's see. What pin did it on? Pin 12, automatic transmission. It's a pink white fused ignition output. We'll check for power there, and then down here, let's see, on pin 29 should be battery positive, so that should be hot all the time. So let's go look at that. Hopefully, if you need any of these other pinouts, this screen right here, you can pause it and check out what you need. Alright, I want to show you how to remove these connectors if you're not familiar with it. Chrysler uses a lot of these little red tab things here. So the hood's up, so I'm going to take you around the back and show you. So on this number 1 here, so we'll pop this red clip back. If you can't get it back, you can put a little screwdriver in there, slide that back. And then there's a tab right here between it. So you need to push down on that tab and just pull back, and it should pop right out. Alright, so here's that connector. I'm going to get some light on it. Let's check for corrosion. I'm looking in here, and these pins look good. They're all straight, they're clean. Nothing looks broken. So I don't see any corrosion there. And then inside the connector, which obviously you can't see right now, but take my word for it, it all looks good. Next thing I want to do is I removed all 4 connectors, and I did label them 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see they're color coded. Hopefully you can see that. Let me get the light. So like the TCM, this is the black. You've got orange, white, and then green. So if you went from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, black, orange, white, and green, so you don't get them confused. Make sure they go back to the same spot. Let me check these for corrosion, and we'll take it from there. So now we need to check for circuit integrity here. We want to make sure this TCM is getting the proper power and ground. So right now my test light is hooked to battery positive. I'm going to touch ground, battery negative here. Hopefully it'll light up, you'll see it. Okay, so we want to test on this number 1 connector here. We want to go to pin 18. Pin 18 is ground. So when I touch 18, this should light up. Let's test that. That's good. Okay, so we know we have the good circuit integrity. I was pulling it on and off, and I'm just touching it lightly. I'm not spreading the terminals. And now what I want to do is check pin 29 down here, or terminal 29, because that's the opposite here. That's going to be our power. So I'm hooking my test lead to or my test light to battery negative. Now I'm going to touch battery positive, make sure it works, and it is. Hopefully you can see it's glowing. There we go. So now that I'm hooked to ground, I'm going to check positive, which is 29. 29 should be hot all the time. So when I touch this, it should light up. Okay, so that's working well. So we're pleased to see that. I'm going to take this, I'm pulling this out of here. I'm going to remove these 3 bolts. So I got one here. These are Torx 25, T25s. One here, and then this one, and then this one. So I'm going to pull those 3, and this thing should come off the firewall. Spray a little water dispersing 40 on here, otherwise known as WD-40. A little trivia there for you in case you didn't know. That's why this stuff's called WD. Water displacement, I think, is what it was made for. I think the military designed it to keep stuff from rusting. So I'll back these 3 out, and then I'll turn the camera back on. And if something sparks or blows up in the meantime, I'll be pissed that I didn't get it on film. Alright, there's 2. Let's get this 3rd one out. I do have the negative side of the batteries disconnected. Let's see how much this will be. Yeah, they're a little tight. That's that sound you hear right before you hear snap. That's okay, it came out. Okay, so let's pull this out and take it over to the bench. All right, one other detail I just want to show you guys with the TCM out of the car. It goes in like this. It mounts into the firewall like that. You can't mess up the connectors 1, 2, 3, 4 really, because they're color coded anyhow. So like I showed you earlier, you got the black, the orange, the white, and the green. So don't panic if you forgot to label it or whatever. It should be there. Now this is a factory one, hasn't been remanufactured. I don't know about the aftermarket deals. Alright, so I started to take this apart, or at least take these screws out. I'm using a, what was this, a Torx T15 to take these screws out, and I got them all broke loose here. And after fiddling with this a little bit, it's got that clear sticky stuff on here. Got this open. Here's what it looks like inside. So anywhere you see the shiny stuff, that's that gel. Man, that is something else. Look at that. Definitely don't see any corrosion in here. Not at this level. When you're putting these connectors back on, what you want to do is, of course, make sure you're color coded right. You got the right connector at the right spot. Just line it up in there, and then I push back here with my thumb till you hear a click. You hear that little click, and then you can pop that, push that red pin back over, lock it in. All done. So I wanted to give you the update here. We know we've got power. We know we've got ground to that connector 1 there at the TCM. We know we had the 2 trouble codes. So, and we also know that if we disconnect the battery, or I think I told you, then it resets the TCM, the check engine light's off, and it takes quite a while for that code to come back up and the transmission issues. So anyhow, I wanted to get a second opinion. I talked to Keith at New Level Auto. He's got a YouTube channel here. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to his channel. He's awesome at diagnostics. I mean, definitely top-notch pro there. And it's what he does for a living. So I gave him a call. I wanted to get his feedback on this. And he told me I guess I was on the right path. And with the power and ground issue, he said as long as those are constant and I'm getting these codes, that PCM, TCM is shot. And he did have a great suggestion, because I was thinking of hooking a scope up and watching the scope, but the dropout is so infrequent that you'd have to drive this thing around forever, basically, to, you know, till it, not forever, but a while until it popped up, and you might not catch it. So he had a great idea with getting a 194 light bulb and just tapping into that power and ground and running that to the dash, you know, where you can see it. And if you do see any type of power failure, that bulb goes out, well then obviously the check engine light would come on, and we've got to go look at the wiring, being maybe there's a short or loose ground or something. So that's a great idea. In this case, I think with the situation that we've been happening, you know, this has been happening for a while. This is getting a new PCM or rebuild or remanufacture, whatever we're going to do here. I'm going to let you guys know at the end. I'll leave it in the description if I don't get it on film, because I don't know how long this thing's going to take. I did put the old PCM back in so I can move this out and get the next car in. But anyhow, I appreciate you watching, and I hope if you have this issue, which doing my research online seems to be pretty common for this 06, 05 Jeep Wrangler, maybe it'll give you some direction. So be careful with that test light. Don't poke the wrong wires, the wrong terminals. You don't want to short anything out, and definitely stay on top of what you're doing, and don't just go buy a PCM if it's not the issue, or a TCM combination in this case. And you know, that's a big waste of money. So you want to make sure you're 100% positive. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks, Keith, for your information. Appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, and thumbs up down there is always good. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.